All right, thank God for fantasy football season. I'm Buster Brown, and the show, it's called Redemption Rehab. And if you tuned in today, it's because you want to do one thing, and that's start winning money in fantasy football. Today, we're talking about my top picks in daily fantasy football that'll help you get the job done. So let's head over to the chalkboard
and check out the facts.
Yeah! It's week 14 of the NFL season. Today, we're talking daily fantasy football on our website, fantasyfootballredemptionrehab.com. If you get a chance, check it out. I've got some great lineups for you this week. We got some great quarterback picks, some other position players you're going to love, and some sleepers to help you win some cash on FanDuel for week 14 of the NFL season. So buckle up, get out your popcorn, and let's head over to RT Sports
and check out the facts.
Okay, here we are on RT Sports looking at their top 10 quarterbacks. Of their top 10 quarterbacks, the ones that I think we should be playing this week are players like Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. He should have a big day against the Washington Redskins. Or how about down here where you have Baker Mayfield coming off that pathetic performance against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he chops up the Cincinnati Bengals at home. The weather in Cleveland's only supposed to be about 50 degrees, so he should have a field day. Guys that aren't on their top 10 or even on this list that I like, and one of them is big time, Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons. He should have a big day carving up the Carolina Panthers. So let's head over and check out some running backs we like in week 14, starting with Christian McCaffrey of the Carolina Panthers. He's super expensive on FanDuel, but guess what? We have to have him in the lineup because last time he played Atlanta, he scored a whopping 30 points. Other guys we really like this week in their top 10 is Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon should have a big game against Jacksonville Jaguars. Their defense is falling apart. They've lost a lot of their great players through injury or trades, and I think he has his first big game of the year. We like Nick Chubb of the Cleveland Browns. We're going to get him in most of our lineups this week. And some running backs that didn't make our top 10 list here are Miles Sanders, who we really like this week, going up against the weak New York Giants run defense. And Jordan Howard is not expected to play, so he should get most of the carries. But a guy we really like this week, let me give you two of them. And they're sleepers and they're inexpensive. One of them is Devontae Freeman of the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to get him in most of our lineups. Is Benny Snell Jr. of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he gets 15 to 20 carries and a touchdown. Those are our sleeper picks that we like at running back for week 14 of the NFL season. Let's head over and check out some wide receivers we like this week. Okay, here we are looking at the top 10 wide receivers on RT Sports according to their rankings. I got to have DJ Moore in every lineup. He's going up against the Atlanta Falcons. He's having a big year. RT Sports has him ranked second, and I agree. Another wide receiver we really like is Davante Adams of the Green Bay Packers. How do you not have this guy in your lineup going against a weak secondary of the Washington Redskins? And some other guys we really like on this list right here that didn't make their top 17 are players like Alshon Jeffries of the Eagles. He scored a ton of points last week, and the Giants secondary, who he's playing this week, isn't any better. We're going to show you some other lineups with other position players that we haven't talked about at quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. Let's go ahead over and check out some tight ends we like in RT Sports Top 10. Okay, here we are back on RT Sports checking out their top 10 rankings for tight ends in week 14. You gotta love all these tight ends right here. Whether it's George Kittle, Austin Hooper's back for Atlanta. We're going to try to get him in a lineup. George Kittle, we like him. Kyle Rudolph, as long as Adam Thielen's not playing, Kyle Rudolph has scored a touchdown in 5 of 6 weeks. So he's on our list of players we want to put in our lineup. And you can't go wrong with a sleeper from last week who didn't make our top 10 on RT Sports, and that's Jack Doyle of the Indianapolis Colts. He's due for another big game without T.Y. Hilton playing or the other tight end, Eric Ebron. And let's not forget about the deep sleeper, Mike Gesicki for the Miami Dolphins, who's going up against the New York Jets. Let's take a look at some defenses we might want to consider for Week 14 of the NFL season, starting with the Green Bay Packers. Man, they're really expensive on FanDuel, but they're playing the weak Washington Redskins in Green Bay. Should be a cold game, and the Redskins aren't prepared for Green Bay's defense, but they're expensive on FanDuel, so it's hard to get them in there. I also like Minnesota against Detroit. If you have any money left, you should probably put them in there. They're going to really beat up on their third-string quarterback. But that's not what we do here. We usually go for the sleeper defenses to save money so we can get our big-time premium players in there. If I need a sleeper defense, I'm coming all the way down here, and it's the Buffalo Bills. They're playing against, the Baltimore Ravens. Look, Baltimore playing in Buffalo in December. Should be about 40 degrees there. They're going to try to run the ball, but Buffalo's got a good defense. I think they're going to score some points. I think Buffalo's defense is up to the task. Another defense I kind of like this week is the Kansas City Chiefs. They're also inexpensive, really inexpensive on FanDuel. I think you might be able to choose between those two to get some points in Week 14 of the NFL season. Let's head over to FanDuel and check out some lineups we like for Week 14 of the NFL season. Okay, here we are in Week 14 in the NFL season. We're on FanDuel. We're going to show you some of our picks that we like for Week 14, starting with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. And we're going to stack him at wide receiver with Davante Adams. They should have a big game going up against a weak Washington secondary. Guys that we like at running back, we told you earlier, Devontae Freeman's one of our sleeper running backs who should have a big game against Carolina. And Nick Chubb, too, should have a huge game against the Cincinnati Bengals. We plan on using Alshon Jeffries from Philadelphia and DJ Moore in our lineups in most of our leagues also. One of our tight ends is George Kittle. We really like him, along with Jack Doyle. And our sleeper wide receiver that you should be looking at in Week 14 is Paris Campbell. He's coming back. Nobody in Tampa Bay can guard this guy, so I expect him to catch a lot of passes and score a deep touchdown in Week 14. And we've got our Buffalo Bills sleeper defense in there to round up our lineup. Let me give you another lineup that you may want to consider, starting Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons at quarterback. Okay, here we are back on FanDuel looking at Matt Ryan as our quarterback. We stacked him with Devontae Freeman, and down here at flex at Julio Jones. Check out this killer lineup. We kept Nick Chubb, Davante Adams, Alshon Jeffries, DJ Moore, and we told you about Kyle Rudolph. He's caught touchdowns in like 5 of the last 6 times he's played tight end for the Minnesota Vikings. And because of Adam Thielen's injury, he's looking at being a factor again this week against the Detroit Lions, who give up a ton of points to the tight end. And we told you we like Kansas City's defense against a banged up New England offense. This is a great lineup. Plan on using it. Hopefully it does well. And let me give you one more lineup with Baker Mayfield at quarterback that should win some money in FanDuel for Week 14. Okay, here we are back on FanDuel looking at Baker Mayfield as quarterback. We weren't able to keep all our players, but we still have a great lineup that we really like. Like Baker Mayfield at quarterback, we stacked him with Nick Chubb. We've got Jarvis Landry in our lineup, along with Odell Beckham Jr. These guys should have a field day against a weak Cincinnati defense. We kept Devontae Freeman, Alshon Jeffries, DJ Moore. We put in one of our sleeper tight ends, Jack Doyle. And we came up with New Orleans Saints defense because they should have a good outing against San Francisco's turnover-prone offense down in New Orleans. This is a good lineup too. Let me give you some other lineups you could check out. Okay, here we are looking at another lineup with the quarterback from the Carolina Panthers, Kyle Allen in. Look, if you want to save some money in FanDuel, you got to put in a quarterback that isn't expensive. So going with quarterbacks like Kyle Allen or Ryan Fitzpatrick or even Matt Ryan are important. I wanted to show you a lineup with Kyle Allen, with Christian McCaffrey, who's going to have a huge day. We got Devontae Freeman and our 3 wide receivers we've been starting on every team. We told you about Kyle Rudolph and Paris Campbell, who's our sleeper at wide receiver, who I think is going to have a big day now that he's back playing in week 14. And our specialty defense, Buffalo, who's a sleeper this week going up against a good Baltimore offense in Buffalo. Okay, there you have it for week 14 of the NFL season. Those are our lineups that we like in FanDuel. Hopefully, you win some money. We showed you a bunch of sleepers at a lot of positions. Take our advice, go out there, make up your own lineups with some of these players, and take home some cash on FanDuel for week 14 of the NFL season. I'm Buster Brown. The show's Redemption Rehab. Good luck.